potential is there. We're going to win the NFC East and shut you up. That's all I care about. And now I'm at least to the point where I think we'll be good enough tomorrow night not to get embarrassed.
But you picked the score to be something like 35-10.
I did 35-10. I'm going
That's
to
embarrassing.
I'm going to adjust it down a little bit by tomorrow.
Okay,
just a little bit, because I like the Dak will not have played a football game of any reality.
There's a lot of guys that haven't played football games in a very long time.
But he hasn't played for 333 days. Yeah. Do I love that? I do not love that.
Well, Lyle Collins hadn't played it even longer. Tyron Smith is right on that in that same. Well, at least they went out there and got 4 or 5 reps in the preseason.
Okay, and they're still playing games about Zach Martin. I doubt seriously he's going to play, but they're saying under the protocol, because he's vaccinated, that he will get a chance to pass 2 straight COVID tests.
Right.
To get to tomorrow night, that there's still a tiny window of opportunity that he might be able to play. Obviously, he's not injured. I don't know what COVID is doing to him. CD talked about how he quickly lost taste and smell, but it went away and it seemed like 4 or 5 days, and he was right back to normal. So I don't know what's going on with Zach's body right now, but if he's okay from COVID, then I wouldn't be shocked if he'd play tomorrow night. So I got all that going for him.
You're hoping.
Okay, I am hoping. So now if you want me to go back to pessimistic and objective, I will cap it off with this. The man who scares me the most about my Cowboys is the same man who has owned and operated the Cowboys since 1989. And the most horrifying scene of all of episode 5, and really all of Hard Knocks, came fairly early in last night's episode. If we could see Jerry in the cuts meeting with the coaches and Will McClay, the personnel director, with Stephen at his side, Stephen Jones.
Discussing guys.
Running backs.
Hardy
is a work in progress. Given him a lot of opportunities here the last couple of weeks, and he'll be better for it. I mean, so.
And we know he's got a level of burst and a level of quickness.
Now, if something changes between now and 3 o'clock tomorrow because of a switch or a swap or a trade or we reserve the right to change our mind till 3.
Horrifying.
He's the only one.
Okay, to me, to see 78-year-old Jerry Jones in a cuts meeting with veto power, like he is the operating general manager. Final say, Buck is going to stop on Jerry's desk.
He's made it abundantly clear.
Okay, but I got to see it, or I had to see it. I was forced to swallow it in action. Right? I got right before. I don't even envision that ever happening.
No.
I know on draft night he's right in the middle of it, but they're talking about the 55th, 4th, and 3rd man on the squad, right? That's what we're talking about. And he wants to know everything. He wants to have his hands on the final 3 guys who make the roster.
Skip, some owners on draft night will be in there, but it's just mainly for show. Just like, okay, I'm a part, but they're not okay, who are we doing and all that, anything like that. They're definitely not in the cuts meeting. Mr. B was not in the cut meeting with Mike Shanahan.
Has any owner in the history of the league been in a cuts meeting?
No.
I could see if maybe they sat in on the final meeting before a Super Bowl just to hear what the strategy was. This is the minutia. As Jerry said, the night he bought the team, that it was called the Saturday Night Massacre back in February of 1989. He said that night, while everybody was mourning the quote-unquote death of Tom Landry, as in that was the end of him. He'd been fired. And Jerry was like, Christmas morning, I bought the Dallas Cowboys. And he said, I'm going to know everything down to the socks and jocks. That was the quote. Well, this is a socks and jocks meeting. This is where he wants to know. And he's actually sharing his input on the little Hardy kid who made the practice squad. And he's saying, well, we know he's got that
burst.
That quickness, that burst. What? It's like fantasy football. It's like he's sitting up there watching like a fan. And I defend Jerry in that he did play college football at a pretty high level. He was starting guard on a national championship team at Arkansas. But the point is, as much as I credit him for making the Charles Haley trade, because he is a wheeler dealer, that's where he's at his best. If you tell him, hey, Charles Haley is really good and he could change the balance of power, oh, okay, well, let me go see if I can pull this off
Right.
with Carmen Policy in
Yes.
San Francisco. And that was 1992
Right.
when he pulled it off.
Right.
They were sick and tired of Charles Haley. He'd become way more trouble to them than he was
Very
worth.
sick and very tired.
Very sick and very tired because the episodes were ugly beyond printable. We can't even talk about
And getting worse.
Right, and getting worse. And somehow Jerry pulled off trading for Charles Haley, and it simply put them over the top into winning the next 2 Super Bowls that should have been, as you know, maybe 4 or 5 Super
Right.
Bowls. But they did win
Right.
3 out of 4.
Right.
And that was thanks in large part to Charles Haley and to Jerry Jones. But does he understand and know football? Not really.
You know where you get this from. What other owner in NFL history?
Al Davis.
Thank you.
Yep. He learned, he sat at the knee of Al Davis that first year. Right away, they started having camp joint practices with the Oakland Raiders
Yes.
so that Al Davis and Jerry could go to dinner every night.
Skip, like we have practice scripts.
Yep.
Okay, you got the plays that you're going to run. They had to give Al a practice script.
Yep.
Copies of the practice, Al had to see, like, okay, does this match up?
Okay, but Al had at least had coached.
Skip, he was
had been
coach. He
a
was the
head
commissioner of the
coach.
AFL.
He was the commissioner of the AFL,
So-
but he also coached.
Yes,
he was the head coach in the AFL.
So it wasn't just like, okay, I own a team. I got the money. I own a team. That's what I'm doing. No, he got his hands dirty. He understood the minutia, the nuances
Yep.
of running, of coaching. Skip all the cuts and the details and the looking at the gameplay. What goes into being a coach and what goes into running a team. Skip, from the ground level, not from the upper level. Jerry understands that, Skip. He's as good a businessman as we've ever had on a team in the NFL.
Agreed.
That cannot be questioned. That cannot be denied.
Yep.
But on the ground floor.
Yep. Okay. So, bottom line takeaway from last night was I believe my team is positioned to win the NFC East. That's all I'm going to say. And at least not embarrass itself at Tampa tomorrow
Get
night.
embarrassed.
And that will be all in spite of. They will win in spite of the head coach and the owner, general manager. In spite of.
Well, you might need to watch episodes 6 and 7. You're getting embarrassed.
Really?
On national television.
Well, episode 6 will occur on Friday morning right here.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Okay.
And I want you to see how you call for copy, how you call for that. I want you to call for them plays when Tom Brady throws for like 4 touchdowns. I want you to call when that defense is suffocating your
Really?
team. Yep.
Oh, so you have now agreed that Tom Brady is the greatest player in NFL history, right?
No,
Tom
that's not
Brady
what
is
I
so
agreed
great
to.
that they had to talk about him on the episode last night, just how challenging it is to go up against the guy. It was an entertaining season. I always enjoy the inside look. The Kamara moment was definitely my favorite, Kenan. It's cool to have those moments when, you know, just they've been working for it their whole life. We have so